Hello guys, Colonel Ninny here.
As you gain experience and confidence on multiplayer servers, you'll be tempted to take on a different role. You'll want to try your hand at night flying. The Ju-88, for example, has a lovely cluster of instruments, but do you know how to read them? You'll often take off at twilight, knowing full well that when you get to the target it will be pitch black. So there's a different skill set to daylight flying, and that is your ability to read your instruments. In this mission, we still have visual reference to the horizon outside. It's more like a daylight flight with crappy visibility. And even getting home, we still don't need to fly on instruments. But let's take a look at the next mission. At night, everything becomes more difficult, even taxiing to the runway without bumping into anything. But the big problem is transitioning from outside references to inside references. These airline pilots are transitioning from their artificial horizons to the real horizon outside. But we are transitioning from an outside horizon to an internal horizon. And that is a totally different skill that you need specific training for. Fortunately, my very first IL-2 training video from January of 2018 is all about how to learn to fly instruments. So let's take a quick look at some of the fundamentals from that video.
So we start with the attitude indicator. We look at it, make sure it's doing what we want it to do. Then we look to the left and we scan across to the directional indicator and make sure that it's doing what we want it to do. Then we go back to the attitude indicator, make sure nothing's changed. Then we scan down to the left at the altimeter to make sure that's doing what we want it to do. Then we go back to the attitude indicator, make sure nothing's changed, and then we look at the airspeed indicator and make sure that's doing what we want it to do as well. And then where do we go from there? You guessed it, back to the attitude indicator.
The best time to practice your scan is during the daylight. Zoom in so you can only see the instrument cluster, and then practice some simple maneuvers. And no, it's not easy, it takes a lot of practice. So follow my scan on this takeoff. It's just a normal takeoff, bringing the gear up, reducing the power, and then transitioning to instruments. Scanning attitude, heading, attitude, altitude, attitude, speed, attitude, power, attitude, heading, attitude. 100 meters, roll left. Heading change, attitude steady. Altitude climbing, airspeed steady. My focus temporarily switches to the heading indicator as I turn. So it's a constant communication with all these instruments. A little later in the flight, we can see the ground, but we have no idea how high we are above it. Navigating by dead reckoning, making sure you don't hit the ground when you're diving into your target. These are all considerations. Basic instrument flying is also necessary when you're climbing into or descending through cloud. Take a look at this. Put the nose down to about 10 degrees. We don't want to get too steep, otherwise we won't be able to pull out at the very end of it. So, about 8 degrees down. If you've enjoyed this video and get some value out of it, please leave a comment and subscribe and like and all those usual things. But if you want to see more of these videos, specifically with the IL-2 Battle of Stalingrad, we've got about 150 training videos for you to look at. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.